Imagine going out with your family and trying to help a panhandler that leads you into your death. Hello everyone and welcome to our YouTube video where we delve into the tragic and perplexing case of Jacquelyn Smith's murder. Jacquelyn Smith, a kind-hearted woman known for her generosity, was fatally attacked and killed in a disturbing incident that shocked the community and the entire America. As details emerged, the circumstances surrounding her untimely death raised many questions and concerns. When the investigators started doing their job, this heinous crime uncovered a web of complexities, leading authorities on a challenging path to seek justice for Jacquelyn Smith and her loved ones. Through strong analysis and expert insights, we aim to shed light on the facts of the case and explore the various theories that have surfaced. Join us as we piece together the timeline of events and examine the key players involved in this tragic murder story. As we navigate through the details, we encourage our viewers to engage thoughtfully and respectfully in discussion surrounding this sensitive topic of Jacquelyn Smith's murder case. On November 30th, Jacquelyn Smith went out for dinner to celebrate her stepdaughter Valeria Smith's 28th birthday along with her husband Keith Smith. They were having their dinner at the American Legion Hall celebrating Valeria Smith's birthday and captured their happy moments. They danced, laughed, had their dinner, and they were very happy that night. But the night didn't end as they wanted it to be. After having dinner, the three of them were driving back to Baltimore to drop Valeria Smith. Keith Smith was driving his Audi 2012 car, where Jacquelyn Smith was sitting next to him in the passenger seat, and her stepdaughter Valeria Smith was sitting in the back seat. Just after midnight at 12:30 a.m., Keith Smith called 911 saying someone has stabbed his wife and tried to rob them, and now his wife needs medical help as soon as possible. When police immediately arrived, they took Jacquelyn Smith into the Johns Hopkins Hospital. She was stabbed 5 times in her torso and there was a cut in her right arm as well. She was pronounced dead after they took her to the hospital. When police started their investigation, they started questioning Keith Smith and Valeria Smith, who were the only 2 people present at the crime scene. Keith described that they were driving back to Baltimore to drop Valerie Smith, and they slowed the car just a few blocks away at the Valley Street to see the pictures they had taken at the dinner. Suddenly, they saw a 20-year-old black lady who had a baby in her hand and a sign that read, "Help me feed my baby." Jacquelyn Smith, being a very kind-hearted woman, immediately wanted to help the lady. So she took some cash from her purse to give it to the lady, and for that reason, Keith Smith rolled down Jacquelyn's side of the window. Jacquelyn handed the money to the homeless mother. As soon as she took money, the lady panhandler along with another guy came running near the car and stabbed Jacquelyn Smith 5 times in her torso and took all the things they could get from the Smiths. The lady panhandler grabbed Jacquelyn's purse and snatched the necklace that she was wearing that night. Keith also added that he and his daughter were in shock at what had just happened in front of them.
It was something that it was horrific for something like that to happen. But I'm right now just absorbing all of it.
After taking Keith and his daughter Valeria's statements, police started searching for the panhandlers as the Smiths described them to be. But after 3 months of investigation, police found nothing that linked the murder to the panhandlers. Police did a survey in the entire neighborhood but could not find a single source of the panhandlers. But they found serious inconsistency and contradictions in the statements and information provided by the Smiths. And when police confronted them, they started changing their statements several times. This way, police investigators got really confused and suspicious towards the Smiths. They started questioning them again and again, and they kept changing their statements. After a few weeks, police tracked Keith Smith's and Valeria Smith's phones, and by tracking Valeria's phone, they found out before parking the car, they had stopped the car in a park and stayed there for 15 minutes. When police confronted the Smiths with the question of why they stopped the car in the park, Keith Smith said that they had been lost in the town, and he was embarrassed to say it to the police. After giving this interview, Keith got back to his home and packed all his things and tried to escape from the town. But police were tracking him, and soon they found out that Keith was trying to escape. He went to Florida, changed his cell phone and SIM service provider, and sent a spare phone to his daughter to keep in touch with her. They used an encrypted app to talk to each other, Soon, police found out that both the father and the daughter were trying to get out of the country, but they failed because Keith didn't have an American passport. That's why Keith started to think of different ways to get out of this country. So in his browser, he searched how to cross the border without a passport. Police tracked and noted this information. After a few days, police arrested both of them and confronted them. When police started questioning Keith, he denied all the allegations and said he has done nothing to his wife and he is innocent. But things went crazy when police started interviewing Valeria Smith. After confronting Valeria, she testified against her father and said that her father fatally stabbed Jacquelyn Smith as they sat in their car in Druid Hill Park. Valeria Smith said that she was sitting in the backseat of the car. He stabbed her 5 times, she said. I saw blood on his hands. After killing Jacquelyn Smith, Keith went into the woods with the knife in his hands. But when he came back, he didn't have it. She also testified that her father returned from the woods with a story they would tell the police that a panhandler stabbed Jacquelyn Smith. She said her father then got back into the car and said nothing. Valeria Smith testified that her father put a towel on Jacquelyn Smith's head and drove to East Baltimore to call 911. She said he was calm before the 911 call and that he pretended to cry after the call. After the killing, Valeria Smith testified that her father asked her to get rid of Jacquelyn Smith's wallet and said put it down a storm drain, and she did it. The main reason for Jacquelyn Smith's murder was that her husband Keith Smith was fed up with her and he wanted to get rid of her as soon as possible. And to everyone's shock, this was not the only time he tried to kill her. Before this, he talked to one of his brother's friends that he doesn't want to stay with his wife anymore. And he doesn't want to divorce her either, because if he divorced her, he was not going to get the insurance money from Jacquelyn Smith's life insurance. This is why he planned to kill her, so he could get rid of his wife and get the insurance money. And as we all know now, he killed his wife Jacquelyn Smith brutally and made up the panhandler story to save himself from getting arrested by the police. In December, a jury found Keith Smith guilty of first-degree murder and a weapons charge in connection with the 2018 stabbing death of his 54-year-old wife Jacquelyn Smith, a killing that he tried to blame on a panhandler. Prosecutor said Keith Smith fatally stabbed his wife 5 times for insurance money and that his adult daughter Valeria Smith, who was a witness, also helped cover it up. As Valeria Smith testified against her father, the Baltimore City Circuit Court judge sentenced Valeria Smith to 5 years in prison followed by 3 years of probation. And his father Keith Smith got life imprisonment and will now justly serve a life sentence in prison for violently stabbing his wife to death and then creating a cover-up plan to cowardly blame panhandlers for his horrific attack. Keith chose to hear his fate through closed-circuit TV rather than in person. The only thing Keith Smith said that could be heard clearly was "I'm sorry." And this was the tragic and unfortunate story of Jacquelyn Smith. Thank you for joining us on this journey as we uncovered the truth behind the Jacquelyn Smith murder case.